This is Digivation Network. Experience the revolution. This is Digivation Network, your leading innovation and enterprise show on television. I am Bayero Agabi. Now to our guest of the week, Professor Ademola Abbas. Professor Ademola Abbas is the Special Advisor on Overseas Affairs and Investment in Lagos State. In this chat with Ugochi Emmanuel, he spoke on promoting businesses and investment opportunities in Nigeria. That is in Nigeria's commercial city, Lagos State.
How far will you say that the government has actually gone in attracting foreign direct investments in the States?
Well, thank you. Let me, welcome you formally to my office.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure. As you know, the competition for foreign direct investment, or FDI, is highly essential, extremely tough, because you have a lot of states within the country and also countries in the continent and worldwide competing for the same thing. But I think we've done pretty well since we came into office in 2015, and I think it's fair to say that in the last 3 years or 4 years, we've attracted more FDIs into Lagos State than Lagos State recorded probably in the previous 16 years before we came into government. So in terms of quantum, I think it's been a kind of quantum leap. Wow. We've done pretty well in that regard.
Okay, if I may ask you, would you say that the Office of Overseas Affairs and Investment has actually performed to the expectations of the governor?
Well, thank you very much. I mean, that is like asking me to rate myself.
Exactly.
I think I'd rather leave it to you as the ultimate consumer of our services, that is investors and so on and so forth, to rate our office like any office, so that we don't become not only subjective, also very vain. But in a way, I think there's no gainsaying the fact that the office was established to be a focal point for investment coming to Lagos State, basically, and also to be able to anchor the overseas activities of Lagos State. And I think in those two broad regards, the office has been able to deliver on its mandates. Almost 90% of investment that come into Nigeria come into Lagos State, pure and simple. And in the last 3 years or 3.5 years, even as recently as the last 2 months, we've witnessed a plethora of activities in terms of overseas affairs, in terms of foreign dignitaries, foreign heads of states, prime ministers coming through to Nigeria and also coming to Lagos State.
China recently came into the country, and yes, Buhari is even China at the moment, in collaboration with them, having a business meeting, if I may say. How profitable will it be to Lagos State especially, and to citizens?
Thank you. The first thing you have to understand is that there is a lot of bilateral relationship between Nigeria and a lot of countries worldwide.
Exactly.
Whether you are China, you are Japan, you are Germany, you are UK, and so on and so forth. So whatever is going on in terms of meeting between Nigeria as a country and China as a country within Sino-African Summit context, which obviously involves a lot of other heads of state or heads of government in the continent of Africa, is in the continuation of the natural relationship between Nigeria as a country and whatever partners out there are willing to partner, willing to do business with Nigeria, to put it in context. So China happens to be one of those partners.
Yes.
Now, China has been very adventurous, let me say, in terms of its push, especially in Africa. We've seen an upsurge in the investment of China in the continent of Africa. That is a good thing as far as injecting the much needed foreign direct investment into the continent of Africa.
Okay, going forward, knowledge economy, ICT has become the front burner now. It's just today's global economy. Do you think Nigeria is doing enough to be part of this global trend?
Well, again, if you take Lagos State as an example, we have a lot of tech hubs developing in Yaba and other places. I mean, Nigerian technopreneurs, as we call them, techpreneurs are fantastic. They're doing a lot of marvelous things, not only in Nigeria, all around the world. And I think that has started gaining some international recognition. I'm sure that Mark Zuckerberg did not come to Nigeria 2 years ago just to come and jog on the bridge, on the street of Lagos. That to some extent, his visit was a recognition that Nigeria is going in the right direction as far as technology advancement is concerned. But you know what? Are we investing enough in it as a country? I think we're not doing badly. The first thing is for us to recognize that that is the future. We're talking about smart city all the time. You know, in Lagos State, I mean, we've got a fantastic program here. We have coding going on, this and that, you know, e-library and so many other fantastic initiatives at our educational sector.
How do you think this advent of the social media will impact on the 2019 election?
Oh well, that's a billion-dollar question. I think every government all over the world is a bit wary when it comes to the role of social media in elections worldwide. Yes. I mean, we are still smattering, so to say, from the 2016 elections in the US and the role played by by the social media enterprise in Cambridge precisely, this company, which I think has been folded up now. Okay. The role they played in the alleged intervention or interference on the elections. And since that, a lot of other things have come to light in terms of interference in elections beyond the United States, all over the world. I mean, Russia has been rightly or wrongly implicated or accused of playing a critical role in that. Look, what is important, as far as I'm concerned, is that social media is a great phenomenon in the 21st or 20th to go into 21st century. Sometimes you ask yourself, how did we used to communicate before WhatsApp? How did we used to communicate before this and that?
Before even the phone came
before even the phone. But I think social media has really advanced the cost of human knowledge and human interaction. But also it has its own the world has become a global village. So monitoring, tracking and everything, have become so much easier in the era of social media than before. So the most important thing for every government to be sure of is to try to strike a great balance between its citizenry's need for social media and also making sure that you preserve the life and quality of the entire citizenry. That is important, because today now we get results, we get news and information about kids being bullied through social media. 9-year-old last week committed suicide and left a note because he was being bullied. So you have social media bullying maximally, blackmail and so many other things that social media is today being used for. So the election interference is just one of those dark alleys in which social media has pushed the world into.
Before I let you off the seat, where do you see Lagos State in the next 5 years?
Well, as they say, futurology is always problematic. But I will just put it this way. Where was Lagos when this government came in 2015? Where was Lagos before former Governor Babatunde Fashola came in? Where was Lagos before Jagaban Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu came in? Those are questions you have to ask. Between Alhaji Lateef Jakonde and when you had Asiwaju Tinubu coming in and giving us a template of what a modern Lagos should look like, we had a bit of bumps along the way. But since Asiwaju came into play and gave us a blueprint and a guide of how this state should go forward, I think Lagos has consistently progressed in the right direction. Babatunde Fashola did a fantastic job after Senator Ahmed Tinubu. My own boss, Governor Ambode, came in 3 years ago, and I think it's fair to say he has performed incredibly well, fantastically well, without being hyperbolic. I think it's done very well. In terms of infrastructural renewal development, Lagos is on the rise. In terms of FDI coming to the country, Lagos is on the rise. In terms of the international community noticing that something significant is taking place in the country, Lagos has had more than its fair share of that attention. So when you look at all this, put them together in the last 3.5 years, if you use that to project the next 4 years, and with the kind of energy that this governor has and his team, has got around him, I am sure that the future is orange for Lagos. The future is bright.
Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
This is Digivation Network. Experience the revolution.